Thank you, Joey. Great job. We're going to call this Board of Mayor and Alderman meeting of Tuesday, April 8th, 2025 to order. I'm going to call the roll. Alderman Barnhill.
Present.
Alderman Blanton.
Here.
Alderman Caesar.
Here.
Alderman Peterson.
Here.
Alderman Berger.
Present.
Alderman Brown.
Present.
Vice Mayor Potts.
Present.
Alderman Baggett.
Present.
And the mayor is present. So tonight we're going to start off with the invocation. I've asked the vice mayor if he would lead the invocation. And I'll also ask him to lead in the pledge. We'll just double duty. So please stand.
Thank you, Dr. Moore. If you will, please join me in prayer. Most gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for this wonderful day that you've provided to us. Lord, we're so thankful to live in Franklin, Tennessee. We're thankful for all the men and women that serve our great community. We're thankful for those that are first responders that take on the call when the time comes. Lord, we especially appreciate those men and women who serve in our military services that are domestic or overseas at this time. We pray for them and for their families. We pray tonight for your guidance as we continue to serve our great city as the elected officials. For it's in Christ's most precious and powerful name that we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Please join me now in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag and the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, now's our favorite time to set the agenda for tonight. Are there any changes, additions to the agenda, or any items that need to be pulled from the consent agenda or from the approved upon, what's the term that we use? Items approved by the city administrator. Alderman Caesar, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd just like to pull item number 30. I believe that's the number of it from the items approved by the city administrator and put it at the bottom of the agenda.
And approve the agenda otherwise.
Approve the agenda otherwise, yes, sir.
Is there a
Just a
second?
second. That is a report of an item that's already been approved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not an item that's voted on.
That's
I'm glad
fine.
to explain it further. It's
that
not something
was-
the board votes on. It's
Yeah.
something that
I'm reporting that I used previously granted administrative authority to enter into a contract. But I'm glad to give an explanation or answer
Yes.
questions.
I'm not looking
I
for a
did
vote.
discuss-
I was giving you, I
Yeah.
think, the opportunity
Okay.
to share what
okay.
it is because
I just want to be
it's
clear, you're not voting. Yes.
I did discuss with him that this was not a voting
Okay.
item. He wanted it brought forward as far as the information purposes.
Yeah.
So the board, in case they overlook. it.
Okay.
So,
I heard voting. I was just trying to clarify.
Yeah.
Okay.
but no, we're voting on the order of the agenda, is what we're voting on.
as we've been
Pull that item for public
discussion.
comment,
Yeah.
at least for your comment, to understand it better.
Yeah, number
So,
30.
And who was the second?
Second.
Vice Mayor? Okay. Do I need a roll call?
No, just.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously. We're now ready for any citizen comments, and I have no speaker cards on items not on the agenda. We'll now go to communications from the Williamson County Commission, who is changing this room dramatically, and I have no communication from them. And I'll go to approval of the minutes, March 25th, 2025 work session and Board of Mayor and Alderman meeting. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Alderman Peterson.
Second.
Seconded by Alderman Caesar. Any discussion? Ready to vote. Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Potts.
Yes.
Alderman Baggett.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. We'll now go to miscellaneous reports. You're recognized, Alderman Brown.
Thank you, Mayor. My apologies earlier in the work session. I missed saying this, which is amazing because I've been working on this for like a year. But in the Parkland dedication fee discussion, an important element I would love for staff to bring back as an option before we vote on this is we've created this arts and culture district in the factory. We also have an arts commission that really doesn't have a funding mechanism. And so one of the things I'd like to really have the staff look at, bring back an option on is two components to that. One is to look at a small percentage of that to be utilized for funding public art within the quadrant out of that Parkland dedication fee. And secondly, look at using Parkland dedication fee offsets for the cost of public art if installed by a developer. So if staff could look at that as options prior to coming back for a vote, I would really appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Stuckey, you're recognized.
Just real quick, I wanted to highlight that this Saturday is our annual Arbor Day celebration. It'll take place at Pinkerton Park, starts at 10 a.m. There'll be trees given away, there'll be zoo animals, there'll be kids activities, and of course, free hot dogs from Middle Tennessee Electric. So good time, come on by, a great family event, something we do every year. It is part of being a Tree City USA. We're proud to have that honor and recognize the importance of trees in our community to beautify and add to quality of life. So great event, hope folks can come on out.
Any other miscellaneous reports? Seeing none, we'll continue to move on. We'll go to the consent agenda, and all items in the consent agenda are deemed to be non-controversial and routine in nature by the governing body that be approved as recommended of committee or staff by one motion of the governing body. We're looking at items 18 through 22. Is there a motion?
So move.
Thank you, Alderman Barnhill.
Second.
Seconded by Alderman Brown. Any discussion? Ready to vote? Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Potts.
Yes.
Alderman Baggett.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. Item number 4, this is a public hearing, consideration of ordinance 2024-50, an ordinance to rezone 1.95 acres from residential R4 district and mixed residential district to civic institutional for the property located north of Liberty Pike and east of Chestnut Lane at 104 Chestnut Lane. Joey?
Thank you and good evening. The property is currently comprised of 3 different lots and consists of a little less than 2 acres. It is the location of the Christ Fellowship Church. Envision Franklin places the larger lot on Chestnut Lane within the historic residential design concept and the 2 lots along Liberty Pike within the mixed residential design concept. Both design concepts support institutional uses as primary uses with the added consideration that they do not adversely impact the surrounding neighborhoods. The church campus has been at this location for several decades, and the request to rezone to CI meets both recommendations of Envision Franklin as well as the long-established use of the property. Staff recommends approval of ordinance 2024-50, as does Planning Commission. Happy to answer any questions.
Are there any public comments on this? If not, I'm going to close the public hearing and entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve.
Thank you,
Second.
Vice Mayor, seconded by Alderman Peterson. Any yeah, we,
Are we back there? No, Chestnut. I did, but the next one I am.
okay,
I'm sorry.
got it. Okay, no problem. Okay, let's vote. Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Potts.
Yes.
Alderman Baggett.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. Item number 5, this is a public hearing, consideration of ordinance 2024-51 to rezone 20.15 acres from Plan PD 0.2 per 263,100 district to Plan PD 243,200 to 120 district for the property located north of Liberty Pike, east of Franklin Road at 230 Franklin Road, the factory at Franklin PUD. Joey?
Thank you. The site consists of 20.15 acres and is located within the Factory District design concept per the Envision Franklin plan. The Factory District is anchored by the factory at Franklin, which has been a defining community landmark since its opening in 1929 as an industrial campus for manufacturing goods. The vision of the district is to expand the types of uses found in the factory to surrounding properties in order to create a memorable destination. The hotel use is supported within the district, provided that it is carefully designed to complement and support the historic factory buildings. The applicant has received a preliminary certificate of appropriateness from the Historic Zoning Commission for the scale and location of the proposed hotel. The rezoning with the revised entitlements is consistent with the recommendation of Envision Franklin and the Factory District. Staff recommends approval of 2024-51, as does Planning Commission. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Joey. Are there any public comments? I do know that the applicant is here if they want to make a comment. If not, I see waving off on that, then we'll consider I'll close the public hearing, consider a motion.
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Alderman. Second by Alderman Berger. Any discussion?
I need to disclose again that the Holiday Properties is a customer and not this, and no financial interest in the deal.
And Alderman Blanton has recused herself on this vote, so ready to vote. Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Alderman Potts. I'm
Yes.
sorry, Vice Mayor Potts, excuse me, and Alderman Baggett.
Yes.
Passes 7 with 1 recusal. Next is item number 6. This is a public hearing consideration resolution 2024-113, a resolution approving a revised development plan for the Factory PUD subdivision with 1 modification of standard sureties for the property located north of Liberty Pike, east of Franklin Road, located at 230 Franklin Road. Joey?
Thank you. The applicant has submitted a revision to the Factory at Franklin PUD subdivision to add a hotel consisting of 120 hotel rooms to the property and construct a parking garage. The property consists of a little more than 20 acres and is located within the Factory District design concept in Envision Franklin. Envision Franklin highly encourages additional public art and public programming within the district. Public art provides many benefits, including enhancing the sense of place, encouraging public gathering and pedestrian walkability, and bringing art and artists to the public realm for citizens and residents to enjoy. The hotel use is supported, provided that it is carefully designed to complement and support the historic Factory campus. The applicant has received a preliminary recommendation of approval from the Historic Zoning Commission and for the scale and location of the proposed parking garage and hotel. Additional public art locations are not documented in this plan. However, the applicant is aware of the goals of Envision Franklin and has stated that the public art opportunities will be addressed at the site plan stage. The applicant has submitted a shared parking study that defines the peak parking periods based on both the existing and proposed uses for the Factory campus. The parking study is included as an exhibit for your review. The study shows an overall 37% reduction from 1,674 spaces to 1,058 spaces with share factors incorporated. With the addition of the parking garage, the development is providing 1,066 spaces. There is one modification of standards request with the plan that addresses surety requirements. MOS number 1 is a request to allow a surety bond in lieu of a revocable letter of credit. Since staff has been researching the use of surety bonds and discussing with the Development Services Advisory Commission the merits of a potential zoning ordinance amendment to allow surety bonds in lieu of a letter of credit, staff recommends approval of MOS number 1, as did Planning Commission. Staff recommends that the Board of Aldermen approve Resolution 2024-113 with conditions, as did Planning Commission. Happy to answer any questions.
Okay, is any public comments on this item? If not, I'll close the public hearing and would entertain a motion, and I will remind you that this motion will get it into discussion. We'll then have to vote on the modification standard, then we'll vote on if the modification standard, we'll vote on the entire motion then. So, is there a motion?
Move to approve.
Thank you, Alderman
Second.
Brown, second by Alderman Berger. We'll now go to modification of standard as far as sureties. Is there a motion to approve modification standard 1?
Move to approve.
Thank you, Alderman
Second.
Brown, second by Alderman Barnhill. Any discussion on the modification of standard 1? You ready to vote on it? Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Potts.
Yes.
And Alderman Baggett.
Yes.
And we had one recusal, Alderman Blanton. So that passes. We'll now go back to the original motion with approval of the modification standard included. You ready to vote? Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Potts.
Yes.
Alderman Baggett.
Yes.
Passes 7 with 1 abstention. And we can let Alderman Blanton know that she can come back in. So we'll now go to item 7. This is a public hearing, consideration ordinance 2024-43 to rezone 70.57 acres from agriculture district to planned PD district 17.71 per 172,000 district property located east of Peytonville Road, north of Peytonville Road, Erickson Senior Living PUD. Joey.
I'm back. I lost my place. For the regional commerce design concept, Envision Franklin states that these areas contain high-intensity activity centers that attract large numbers of people and employers from both within and outside of the city. These areas include major employment and revenue generators that are valuable community resources, while also providing a mix of housing options that support a healthy, vibrant place to live, work, and play. The primary uses of multifamily housing and continuum of care are supported within the regional commerce design concept. Staff recommends approval of ordinance 2024-43, as did Planning Commission. Happy to answer any questions.
Does anyone want to make a comment on this? Public hearing is now closed then, unless there was, did the applicant have any comments? Seeing none, the public hearing is closed. I entertain a motion.
I move to approve.
Second.
Thank you, Vice Mayor, and seconded by Alderman Berger. Any discussion? Ready to vote? Alderman
Mayor Moore?
Go ahead, Vice Mayor, sorry.
I will say this, as we look at this, I think this is going to make a very positive impact on this area. And I also know that the due diligence has been spent by several of the local HOA leaders to meet with Erickson per my request to Erickson to hold those meetings. And I'm also excited about the opportunities, what positive impact this could lead to for infrastructure there in this area and help with the failing intersections that are right there at the Goose Creek interchange. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Ready to vote? Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Potts.
Yes.
Alderman Baggett.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. We'll now go to item 8. This is a public hearing, consideration resolution 2024-96, a resolution approving a development plan for Erickson Senior Living PUD subdivision with 5 modification of development standards, building elements, connectivity, parking for the property located east of Peytonville Road and north of Peytonville Road, located at 4424, 4428, 4430, and 4440 Peytonville Road. Joey.
Thank you. The applicant has submitted a development plan for the Erickson Senior Living PUD subdivision, which proposes a campus of 1,250 residential dwelling units that are age restricted and 172,000 square feet of commercial space for continuum of care services. And Vision Franklin places this property in the regional commerce design concept, and Vision Franklin states that new development within this area should have integrated designs with coordinated access, amenities, and cohesive architecture that fits within the context of the corridor. The Erickson PUD subdivision provides a cohesive, pedestrian-friendly plan that incorporates both housing and continuum of care services for older demographics. This plan does have 5 modification of standards requests that address building elements, connectivity, and parking. The following is the list of MOS requests from the applicant and staff recommendations for each, should the development plan be approved. So MOS number 1 is a request to allow loading areas to be located to the side of buildings. The applicant has limited these areas to certain spots on the plan and has provided additional screening methods for these loading areas. So staff recommends approval of MOS number 1. MOS number 2 is a request to modify the maximum block length to 6,200 feet, linear feet. Section 9.5.2C of the ordinance states that block length perimeter shall not exceed a maximum of 2,400 feet, except that the DRT may approve a block length perimeter of up to 3,200 feet. The proposed length is nearly double the maximum of what is permitted, including more public streets throughout the plan, where there are now only parking lot drive aisles, could achieve the design standard. However, it is the intention of the applicant to have a secure site through the development, and this is the reason for their request. Staff recommends disapproval of MOS number 2. MOS number 3 is a request to allow the finished floor elevation to be at ground level. Given the demographics of those who will be occupying the building and that similar requests have been approved previously, this request can be supported, so we are recommending approval of MOS number 3. MOS number 4 is a request to remove the required eastern connection for external connectivity. The major thoroughfare plan was updated prior to this coming to the board tonight, so we are actually changing our recommendation from the staff report to approval of MOS number 4 because of the update to the major thoroughfare plan for Carruthers Parkway. MOS number 5 is a request to reduce the parking requirement for multifamily residential units from 1.5 spaces per unit to 1.2 spaces. The applicant has cited a national parking standard manuals and the fact that their minimum parking numbers for similar uses are much lower than the request for 1.2 spaces per unit. Because of the data provided by the applicant, coupled with the number of on-site amenities reducing generated trips, staff can support the MOS request for the reduction in parking. So staff recommends approval of MOS number 5. And just to give you a recap, staff is recommending approval of all MOSs with the exception of MOS number 2 for block length. Planning Commission recommended approval for all 5 of the MOS requests. So with all of that in mind, staff recommends approval of Resolution 2024-96 with conditions. As did Planning Commission, happy to answer any questions.
Just some clarification on item 4, on number 4, that was remove the requirement for the eastern connection, correct?
Correct, yes.
Okay, great. Okay, does anyone want to speak on this item? I see Mr. Gamble coming up.
Hi, my name is Greg Gamble, and I'm representing Erickson tonight, and it really has been refreshing. Erickson is not from Franklin, but you wouldn't know that with their attitude toward their neighbors in this community. It's been great working with you guys, and I really look forward to where your plan is headed. Wanted to talk just a second about these 2 modification of standards. It's very rare that we would bring anything forward that would have staff's recommendation of disapproval, but I want to talk a little bit about modification of standards number 2 about the maximum block length. A maximum block length is established in the zoning ordinance to maintain convenient pedestrian and automotive circulation. That's the intent. And I know that it sounds like we're asking for a very large number of 6,200 linear feet, and that seems very, very large. However, with Erickson's residents, the convenience is provided in a different way. Internal connectivity is provided from building to building through air-conditioned corridors and throughout the campus with interconnected exterior walkways that go to the parks and the open spaces and the amenities of the site. The pedestrian connectivity is not compromised because we have larger block lengths. It's how the block lengths are typically measured and defined in our ordinance. So we're achieving an intent to provide that circulation and that connectivity. We're just doing it in a way that is for ADA accessibility and seniors with these air-conditioned corridors. On the 4th modification of standards, this is a request to remove the eastern connection for external connectivity. The request is due to security of this campus and the residents. We've been working very closely with our neighbors to the north and south about putting local streets, identifying them on the major thoroughfare plan as future connections from Carruthers Parkway, which isn't constructed yet, but will be one day, to Paytonsville Road. So those points of connections will be provided. There is a north-south private street with a public access easement to be constructed and maintained by Erickson that will connect those local streets on Erickson's property. So we're providing connectivity. We're not meeting the exact intent of what the ordinance says, but we believe by documenting local streets on the major thoroughfare plan in a similar way that was done for Armistead and Old Charlotte Pike, that we're starting to accomplish that same kind of connectivity. So I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have too.
Are there any other comments from the public? I'll declare the public hearing closed, but I'll allow a question from Alderman Berger to Mr. Gamble, if you'd like to.
Sure. If you remove the eastern connection, what's the ingress egress of the development? Just one?
Mayor, I have a quick map that shows the connectivity. May I pass this out?
Sure.
I'd like, when you get back to the mic, to explain the connectivity, make sure there's just one entrance.
Sir?
Eric. Jeez.
So here, for this modification of standards number 4, you see Goose Creek bypass being extended over to Long Lane. That's in yellow. You see Carruthers Parkway extended south. That's the future alignment for Carruthers Parkway, shown there in yellow or gold as well. The dark orange, those are the local streets. So you see directly to the north, we have the dark orange that will be going from Paytonsville Road, headed eastbound toward Carruthers Parkway. And it will have 2 local street connections going north to Goose Creek Bypass. South of Erickson's property, then, we have another local street that will go from Paytonsville Road to Carruthers Parkway in this general alignment. The private street that's constructed by Erickson that will have a public access easement parallels Paytonsville Road. It's approximately 150 to 250 feet away from Paytonsville Road, so we preserve that open space that's there now. Erickson's campus will actually sit off of Paytonsville Road quite some distance, but it'll have that parallel road going north-south to provide that connectivity. Everything within the campus then is going to be gated, secured. It'll have an equestrian-style fence around it, and then it'll have gates and secured access.
So in the future, you have to wait for that to be built, those connections, everything.
So the orange, the dark orange, those would be built in the future as those properties develop. That's correct. But right now, there's nothing to connect to over at the east until Carruthers Parkway is built.
And my other question was the block length. Is the exterior of the buildings volumes broken up so the building's not so massive in visibility?
Yes, that's one of the requirements that staff put as a condition of approval on the development plan. We're fine with that, and we believe in that spirit of
Block, it's
believe in
gonna
that
be-
spirit of
the volumes
architectural
will be,
diversity.
different along the block.
That's right.
Okay.
Sure. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, I'm going to close the public hearing's already closed. You have another question for him? Go ahead, Alderman
Well, yes,
Peterson.
Is this the one where it says, unless the city does something about one of the streets or something like that? I don't.
Yes, okay, so there was a condition of approval that staff wrote regarding the final design of Paytonsville Road. The applicant was required to provide, as a part of the off-site road agreement, an exhibit that showed the required construction for Paytonsville Road.
Oh, that's on the development plan, isn't it?
It is.
Okay.
It's in the development plan. And the night of the planning commission, a representative from Boyle said, what if we have a bigger picture vision? What if we build Paytonsville Road to the 4-lane median divided boulevard as opposed to kind of piecemealing this apart at a time? That conversation is being had now. So the planning commission altered the condition of approval to say this plan, or as altered or as amended by BOMA in the future. So that was the change in the condition of approval that was made. Did I summarize that okay? Okay, Emily has the wording.
If you'll just look at your staff report recommendation, it has the final wording on how the amendment reads. And this would need to be amended by you as well, if this is how you would like this to read. That Planning Commission recommended approval with conditions as amended, with an amendment to condition of approval number 2 to add the statement unless otherwise modified by the Board of Mayor and Aldermen. It's on the development plan conditions of approval.
Okay.
Yes, which this is the development plan item that you're
We're
on
talking
right
about
now.
right now?
Yes.
Okay. No. So you might say that again. 'Cause-
Sure. The amendment is to condition of approval number 2 to add the statement unless otherwise modified by the Board of Mayor and Aldermen. And it's in the staff report as well, if anyone needs to reference it.
Right there. And that's, is that what the original motion? Okay. All right, thank you for that clarification. I'll now entertain a motion.
Move to approval.
Second.
Second by the vice mayor. You're good. So we'll now move to the modification of standards. I would ask, first of all, on the motion that was made for approval is, are you including the planning commission recommendation as far as condition of approval two, to add the statement unless otherwise modified by the board of mayor and alderman?
I am.
Good. Thank you. Is that okay with you also? Great. So we'll now go to modification standard number one, which is loading area location. I entertain a motion for approval.
Move to approve.
Second.
Second by Alderman Berger. Any discussion? Ready to vote? Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Potts.
Yes.
Alderman Baggett.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. We'll now go to modification standard two, maximum block length modification.
Move for approval.
Thank you.
Second.
Seconded by Alderman Caesar. Any discussion? Ready to vote? Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Potts.
Yes.
Alderman Baggett.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. Modification standard three, ground level floor elevation. Is there a motion?
Move for approval.
Thank
Second.
you. Second by the vice mayor. Any discussion? Ready to vote? Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Potts.
Yes.
Alderman Baggett.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. The modification standard four is to remove the requirement for the eastern road connection. Is there a motion?
Move to approve.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, Alderman Barnhill. Any discussion? Ready to vote? Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Potts.
Yes.
Alderman Baggett.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. Item number five has to do with modification standard as far as parking. Is there a motion?
Move for approval.
Second.
Second by Alderman Caesar. Any discussion? Ready to vote? Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Potts.
Yes.
And Alderman Baggett.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. We'll now go back to the original motion with the five approved modifications as standards. Are you ready to vote? Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Potts.
Yes.
Alderman Baggett.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. So we'll now go to item number 9, which is City of Franklin contract number 2025-0026 with Erickson Living Properties for Parkland Impact Fee and construction agreement for Erickson Senior Living PUD. Is there a motion?
Move to approve.
Thank you.
Second.
Second by Vice Mayor. Any discussion? Ready to vote? Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Alderman Potts. Vice Mayor Potts.
Yes.
Alderman Baggett.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. Item number 10 is City of Franklin contract 2025-0048 with Erickson Living LLC for a road impact fee offset agreement for an amount not to exceed $5,871,648.61. Is there a motion?
Move to approve.
Thank you, Alderman Brown. Is there a
Second.
Second by Alderman Peterson. Any discussion? Seeing none, let's vote. Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Potts.
Yes.
Alderman Baggett.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. Item 11 is consideration of resolution 2025-11 to annex one property consisting of 5.86 acres located at 4356 South Carruthers Road and adjoining the city limits within the eastern part of the Franklin urban growth boundary. Establish a public hearing on May the 13th. Is there a motion?
Move for approval.
Thank you.
Second.
Second by Alderman Caesar. Any discussion? Ready to vote? Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Oh, Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Potts.
Yes.
And Alderman Baggett.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. Item number 12 is ordinance 2025-03, an ordinance to rezone 204.86 acres from Plan PD 1.0 district to Plan PD 1.26 district for the property located south of Murfreesboro Road, east of South Carruthers Road, including 4356 South Carruthers Road, known as Coletta Park PUD subdivision. Is there a motion?
Move to approve.
Thank you, Vice Mayor.
Second.
Second by Alderman Barnhill. Any discussion? Seeing none, ready to vote. Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Potts.
Yes.
Alderman Baggett.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. We'll now go to item 13, which is ordinance 2025-05 to rezone 0.89 acres from general office district to Plan PD District 6900 district for the property located that says it twice. Located east of Jordan Road and north of Murfreesboro Road, located at 903 Murfreesboro Road, Cook PUD subdivision.
Move for approval.
Second.
Second by Alderman Berger. Any discussion? Ready to vote. Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Potts.
Yes.
And Alderman Baggett.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. Item 14 is Amendment 5 to City of Franklin Contract Number 2020-0055 of Ascension St. Thomas Urgent Care for renewal regarding near-site clinic services for June 30th, 2025. Is there a motion?
Move for approval.
Thank you, Alderman Berger.
Second.
Second, Alderman Brown. Any discussion? We're going to start at the other end of the list. Alderman Baggett.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Potts.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Barnhill. Passes unanimously. Item 15 is City of Franklin Contract Number 2024-0280 with the TMA Group for lease agreement for the building and property located at 708 Columbia Avenue, Franklin, Tennessee 37064. Is there a motion?
Move to approve.
Thank
Second.
you, Vice Mayor. Second, Alderman Peterson. Any discussion? Seeing none, let's vote. Alderman Baggett.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Potts.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. Next, we'll go to procurement award to Morgan Contracting Incorporated of Knoxville, Tennessee in the lump sum of amount of $4,163,750 for water reclamation facility rehabilitation resiliency improvements project for the Water Management Department. Is there a motion?
So move.
Thank you, Alderman Barnhill.
Second.
Seconded by Alderman Blanton. Ready to vote? Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Potts.
Yes.
Alderman Baggett.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. Item 17, which is procurement award to Calgon Carbon Corporation of Moon Township, Pennsylvania, in the total lump sum of $115,000 for granular activated carbon water filtration media exchange for the Water Treatment Division Water Management Department. Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
Appropriate motion second. Any discussion? Ready to vote? Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Potts.
Yes.
Alderman Baggett.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. We'll now go to item number 30, just for a comment, a clarification, if you'd do that, Mr.
Yeah, I'll just
Stuckey.
walk through this real quick.
Which is contract 2025-0070 with Management Impact Solutions LLC for executive search services for the Assistant City Administrator.
Yes, so as we know, Vernon will be leaving us later this year, so we need to fill that position. And so the assistance that we have added to this process is that of an outside recruiter to help us with that process. Similar to what you did when you recruited for the city administrator many years ago, to help get that assistance to put the broadest net out there to look and make sure we're getting the right talent to fit the position. It's critically important leadership role in our organization, obviously. Does not mean we won't be considering folks within our organization, but it does help us validate that, like I said, put that net out widely. A lot of times, some of your most talented folks aren't necessarily looking for a position. And so we want to make sure we're putting our best foot forward and maybe identifying folks that might be a good fit for our community, for our city team. Just a little bit of background in terms of process. We did solicit proposals, received them from 7 firms, interviewed 4 of those firms that we thought were most qualified and selected MGT. I will say their base fee is $25,000. There's an allowance for some other expenses in terms of advertising, some travel that they may incur. All those expenses are still approved by the city separately. So that's a maximum exposure. That base fee was, I think, the second lowest of what we saw from the proposals. When you factor in those other costs, they're probably middle of the road of the proposals that we received. I think it's an important hire, as important a hire as we'll make. And I think having this additional assistance will really help us, help the city overall, and making sure we've filled it with the right fit for us. So it's not something we have done before, but it's something I've done in my career other places for targeted positions, and I think this is the right place to use that tool and move forward with it. So that's why I authorized this expenditure.
Thank you.
Any questions? Anything? Okay.
No, I wanted maybe just a comment if I could, Mayor.
Sure.
Yes, sir.
I'm grateful for you sharing that publicly, Eric. I think this is a
Glad.
crucially important role for us as the city. And it was less about questioning the expenditure and more about understanding what you said so well, that many of the top candidates aren't the ones looking every day on LinkedIn for a new job.
Yeah.
And we want people maybe that are in a good spot and giving them an opportunity to step into this role, and that may take some proactive work. So excited to see what list of candidates they present to us, and grateful for you using this opportunity to speak to the public. If you know someone that is well suited for this, please have them apply.
Yeah, have them check it out. It's posted now.
Any other business come before this body? If not, Alderman
Motion to
Bland.
adjourn.
Second.
Second, Alderman Caesar. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Ken.